Hello everybody, my name is Cozy Bro, and I think video games suck now, so let's talk about it. The number one thing that pisses me off about modern gaming is the rate at which games come out and the lack of diversity in the games. And I'm not talking about racial diversity, I'm talking about like the different types of games. Everything that's been coming out in modern times honestly is the same shit. Everyone's trying to be Grand Theft Auto, Call of Duty, or Fortnite. And I mean, hell, even Call of Duty's trying to be Fortnite with the whole Warzone debacle. Everybody just wants to copy what works and doesn't want to actually do anything new and creative. Which for gamers sucks because now we're all stuck in this giant monotonous circle of uncreative complacency. And you know this is true because anytime anyone does something even slightly different now, it completely blows up and becomes the talk of the town. Games like Grand Theft Auto 5, Fortnite, League of Legends, Minecraft, The Elder Scrolls 5, Skyrim, The Last of Us. All of these games are so popular because they decided to do things differently when they came out and do them differently in a good way. Meaning they took a risk and they got the reward. And nowadays, companies don't want to do that. They prefer to go the safe route and do what they know, or at least what they think is going to work. And they have taken this idea to pretty much the most extreme that you possibly can, aka my next point, and aka GTA the Definitive Edition, or the what the fuck was that edition, in my opinion. This is a company basically trying to commit two of the cardinal sins at the same time and then being confused why it flopped. One, you're trying to go with what you know works because it worked in the past. Two, you're basically doing a shitty remake, and a remake that no one really asked for. The GTA Definitive Edition was nothing short of a fucking cash grab, which I honestly think they did to help them keep funding GTA 6 because apparently they've spent over $2 billion on that fucking game, which I mean, holy shit. But this is the second big reason why video games suck now is everything is a fucking remake. They remade Final Fantasy VII, they remade Dead Space, Resident Evil 4, they remade Lego Star Wars. I know they added the new movies, but it was still kind of technically a remake. Apparently they're going to remake Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. Nobody is asking for this shit. This is just them, again, trying to go with what they know works. Well, it made us a bunch of money then, it's gonna make us a bunch of money now. I mean, not always. And the logic behind that doesn't really kind of account for the time period in which these games were made and the type of people who were playing the games at the time and the age of the people playing the games at the time. All of those things are massive factors that contribute to a game's success and contribute to a remake's failure or success.
You know what will make me feel successful? If you hit that subscribe button, the notifications, and the thumbs up, please.
Case in point, going back to Grand Theft Auto the Definitive Edition, those remakes suck because the modern updated graphics don't match the physics. I mean, that's basically it. It looks fucking weird. So when you have the shittier graphics with the shitty physics, it makes a giant sort of cohesive thing. It's a finished product. It makes sense. And in the context of the time period that it was made, it works. All the puzzle pieces fit together. They're all at the same level of outdated shittiness. But now you're updating it with graphics that are, 5-10 years down the road, but it still has the physics and gameplay of a game from, 10 years ago. It just doesn't match, and it feels awkward and clunky. It just doesn't fucking match. Now, stepping back to the rate at which video games come out now, I mean, goddamn, dude, it's like the amount of games that are being made is just abysmal compared to even 10, 15 years ago. There just aren't as many smaller indie studios out there making games. Therefore, if there's not as much to buy, which also in part contributes to the lack of diversity. Now, basically, since I've been alive, every single video game console cycle, there have been less and less overall total games coming out for each of those cycles. The PlayStation 1 had a shit ton of video games. PlayStation 2 had a lot of video games, okay? But then when we went for the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox, it still had a lot, but it definitely dipped down just a little bit. But when you go from like the 360 PS3 era to the PS4 and the Xbox One era, that was a significant drop in the amount of games that were being made. And now it's even worse this cycle going to the Series X and the PS5. And a big reason for this is it just takes so long to make these fucking things now because the standard and the bar has been raised so high that, it takes thousands of people to make one video game. Like Ubisoft, every time they make an Assassin's Creed game, I think they got like 6 or 7 studios all working on that one game. Same with Rockstar and the Red Dead Redemption and the GTA series. They got like thousands of people working on these things, which is why it kind of blows my mind that people are mad that like new video games are coming out at $70 now instead of $60. I mean, we had from like 2007 to basically 2022 video games set at a standard price of $60 $60 a game, but yet the quality and the overall amount of development that went into these games has risen significantly, like massively, to be able to make what they make now. It really should probably honestly be closer to $100 for a fucking video game now, considering the amount of money they have to pour into these fucking things. Maybe I should take that out of this video because we don't want to give them any ideas. And I think the only reason why we got away with that for so long is the amount of gamers just kept increasing and increasing, so these companies were able to sell more overall without having to increase the price. Basically, there were just a shitload more units per video game being sold than ever before, just because the amount of gamers has increased so significantly. But at the same time, and again, talking about my next big thing that pisses me off about video games and why they suck now and why people are pissed off they're paying more money, is almost every video game being released now is not fucking finished. I mean, what in the actual fuck? What the fuck is a day one patch? Like, really think about it. What in the actual fuck is a day one patch? That should not exist in any way, shape, or form. If it is not done yet, then you do not release the game. Set it back. Change the release date. Consumers, at least in America, only ever tolerate this in the video game industry, and I do not understand why we have allowed this to happen. If you go to McDonald's and ask for a cheeseburger, and then when you take a bite into your burger and there's no cheese on it, you'd be willing to go back and complain just like that. You would pitch a fit, maybe not shop at that McDonald's anymore, or you'd buy something else from a competitor. But as gamers, we just take it up the fucking ass.
And go, oh, well, I guess they're gonna fix it.
Like, you wouldn't go to a car dealership and buy a brand new fucking, Corvette, and then them look at you and be like, listen, we're gonna give you the Corvette today, but we're gonna give you the doors in 3 months. You would not buy that fucking car, at least not at full price. You would want a heavy discount. And a lot of times the situation is even worse because you can drive a car without doors. You can't play a fucking video game when it's crashing on you every 10 fucking seconds, or the frame rates drop into like some crazy levels, or your character just falls through the fucking map. It's unplayable. The product does not work, and yet you have paid for it. Now, why is it like this these days? 2 reasons. 1, greed, wanting to get your money before you actually deserve it. 2, everyone has an online internet access now, which means you can patch the thing indefinitely. Before, back in the day, most people didn't really have internet access, and the people who did, the internet access wasn't good enough or fast enough to be able to download massive amounts of data at a time, aka the gigs and gigs you need to patch these damn things. But now that everyone and their grandmother has high-speed internet, this has become much less of a problem. It literally used to be you got one fucking shot to get this right. If you put out a video game that is broken, your reputation will be destroyed. People will not buy the video game. They will return the video game. You will never get a chance for a sequel. You will lose money. You were fucked. And now that standard is gone. These companies that spend their millions and millions of dollars are so desperate to get some money back in their pockets, are just going ahead and putting these things out before they're finished, knowing that they can fix it down the road because they just can't wait anymore. They gotta get some money coming back in. And that to me is just complete and total fucking bullshit. Not only is it greed, it's stupid because you're destroying the reputation of your game studio, aka your brand. Like me, I talk about being a Bethesda whore all the time, okay? I've never played Fallout 76. Ever. Not once. I've never played that fucking game. And the reason is they released it as an unfinished piece of shit. And now, apparently they've fixed it and it's a good game now, but I have no desire to play the damn game now because, like, you pissed on my goodwill. Because as a customer, you basically took a shit in my face, and I'm not gonna tolerate that. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt with Starfield, but if that is a piece of shit game too, then I'm just not gonna buy from you anymore. I don't care if you're selling the cure for fucking cancer. I can't trust you to deliver on what you promised. It's as simple as that. Like, this is basic business, branding and marketing. I'm not saying anything that really isn't common knowledge in the corporate world form. Now, I'm not a massive gamer. I'm really not. When I was a teenager and a kid, big gamer, all I fucking did, but I'm more of like a music maker now than anything. And so I'm not as invested in video games as I used to be. And that being said, most of my time gets taken up with my actual job and me making music. Therefore, when I play video games, the time is valuable. And for most adult gamers, their time is extremely valuable because they got work, kids, other bullshit that they have to do. Take the car to get the oil change done on the weekend. Like, you don't have a lot of time when you're an adult. And it only gets worse the older you get. So me, I'm not tolerating that in any fucking way, shape, or form. I do not buy video games first day anymore, with the exception of literally Bethesda, which I know the comments will be flooded with the
Bethesda's notorious for glitches and that.
Yeah, I know, they they need to get that together. I think hopefully with Starfield, blah, 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 blah. Believe me, I know that makes the entire argument sound fucking hypocritical. Get off my dick. I'm basically a Bethesda fanboy because I like Skyrim and Fallout and all that shit. But that is because those are my favorite types of games. And even though Bethesda games are notorious for bugs and whatnot, they're never released in a basically completely unplayable state. Like, you can do 99.9% of everything, and we all know the glitch in Skyrim where the giants launched you into the stratosphere was the funniest fucking glitch ever, so get off my dick. Now, when I saw Cyberpunk come out, I thought, oh, that is cool. But I'm gonna wait to see what the reviews are because I know most modern video games, when they come out, they're fucked. And lo and behold, Cyberpunk is notorious for having a horrible launch and having all kinds of shit fucking wrong with it. I'm not a hardcore gamer. I don't know the ins and outs of all these companies, who has a good reputation, who has a bad reputation, except Bethesda because I'm a Bethesda whore. Like, I'm a fucking normie. I should not be well aware of how this always happens. Like when Assassin's Creed 3 came out, I was a massive Assassin's Creed fan, but literally that was the game that taught me that I have to wait for 2 or 3 months to buy the game after it comes out because it just keeps crashing and taking a shit on you. I learned this lesson years ago. It's just me from the consumer perspective. I don't have time for mediocrity, you know? I only have so much time, and you will not get a fucking cent from me unless you respect that time. And you respect that time by putting out a finished fucking game. I just wish more people would do what I do because
I'm a narcissist.
I'm just kidding. But because like these video game companies, like if people really fucked up with their sales and stopped giving them this kind of money, they would probably think,
oh, maybe we should finish it before putting it out.
And I know they're putting this shit out because they've got all their money invested in this shit. Like I was saying a bit before, these companies are greedy and they're desperate, hoping to just try and make some of the money back. That way they're not in the negative, especially companies that delay games and, you know, it messes up their advertising schedules and all that shit. But if the fucker was finished when you put it out, you wouldn't have these issues. And side note, they need to stop announcing these fucking things before they're finished. That would solve almost all of your problems. Like Bethesda's about to put out Starfield. We should not even know about that fucking game until like 2 months before it comes out. And it is 150 fucking % done. These companies are just announcing this shit way too fucking early to try and build hype, when in all reality, the thing that they're promising isn't even in a state of what they're promising. It's not there. It's not that thing. And it just hurts them overall. Look at games like Red Dead Redemption 2, the last 2 God of Wars, Elden Ring. These games didn't just do good because they were good video games. They did good because day one, they were fucking perfect. They were playable as fuck. They were just well-built video games. What was basically the standard 10, 15 years ago, they met that standard. And it's not a high fucking standard. It has to just be what you promise it to be, a finished fucking video game. And then it does good. Yes, the gameplay counts. Yes, the graphics count. Yes, having a good and compelling story counts. But the biggest thing that counts, and it really is the entire point of video games in and of themselves, is the immersion, is getting lost in these worlds and with these characters and with these stories. And when you have glitches and stupid shit and the thing doesn't even fucking work, it becomes less of a stress-reducing activity and more of like a headache and a problem, which is the exact opposite of what video games are for. Video games are for fun and to relax after a hard day at work or a stressful day at school or college. Like, that is the point of these fucking things. It's entertainment, not a job that you have to troubleshoot and fix. Now, moving on from that, another thing that really pisses me off in modern day gaming is all of these shitty sequels. And I'm talking games like basically the Madden and the FIFAs, you know, where basically the only thing they change is the fucking box and the number on the title. I'm talking games where they do just the bare fucking minimal effort to make it slightly different from the original and then repackage it, aka the fucking 3,000 different versions of Skyrim that exist. And even me, the fucking Bethesda whore that I am, what in the actual fuck, Bethesda? Like, I'm seriously convinced that when Starfield comes out and you play it, there's gonna be a mission where you fucking crash land on a fucking snow planet and you fucking walk around and get hit over the head, and then you wake up on the cart from the beginning of Skyrim, and then that's how it starts the game. Like the Imperials found you after your spaceship crashed. Like, I just feel like they're gonna incorporate it somehow just as another fuck you, haha, we made you buy Skyrim again. I would not be shocked. Now back to what I was saying, the last actually really good sequel that came out was Jedi Survivor. That is what a sequel should be. You pick up after the last game, you don't have to retrack and like regain your powers for some stupid fucking reason. You just take what was good about the first one and you improve it and then you add shit to it. Like, it's perfect. That is a perfect fucking sequel. which is crazy considering Jedi Survivor's an EA game and they're the fucking champions of shitty sequel remakes and microtransactions and all that shit. And speaking of microtransactions, yeah, everybody fucking hates microtransactions and they're a joke, and I don't even think I actually even need to talk about this because everyone fucking hates microtransactions, which is another thing that technically got started from Bethesda, aka Oblivion Horse Armor. So basically, in the end, if I was God, this is what I would fix with the video game industry. I'd want more games to come out. I'd want these games that would be coming out to be different and diverse, and, you know, they actually take risks and try to make something new and fun and creative, instead of only doing the bullshit that works. I would eliminate these stupid shitty fucking remakes because nobody even really wants them. Sometimes things just need to exist in the history and in the time period where they were created. That's what makes them special. I would make it to where you can't release these fucking video games until they're actually finished, and you probably shouldn't even be allowed to legally announce the product because the product doesn't actually even technically exist. Day one patches gotta go. Video games being at $70, I mean, I don't want to pay $70, but honestly, considering it's been since like 2007 since the standard price changed, I mean, we were kind of due for one like 10 years ago, let alone now. Basically, all in all, these companies just really need to take their time, make good products, and, you know, try something new every once in a while, because the bigger the risk, the higher the reward. And that's it, everybody. That's my rant and me complaining and bitching about everything about video games. If you liked it, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and check out my music if you're into that shit. If not, just continue watching my videos, and yeah, bye.